Where we sort out the who and what and the right and
double
wrong
whammy.
of police interactions. This episode covers
I gotta
trespassing,
pee, I'll be back.
due process, and obstructing, and is brought to us by AL.com's channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. Before we dive into the interaction, I want to give a big thanks to the sponsor of this episode, Surfshark. It's a new year, and it's time for a new take on digital security. Surfshark is a premier VPN service that offers unparalleled digital security for a fraction of the price of other competitors. But that's not all. Along with being one of the most secure VPN tunnels on the market, Surfshark also allows its users to bypass region restrictions on popular platforms like YouTube and Netflix and view content that's not normally available in your country. Thanks to Surfshark, I can browse all the shows on my favorite streaming apps even if they were removed from the US catalog. Right now, Surfshark is offering the ATA community an 83% discount with an additional 3 months completely free when you use code AUDIT. With 24-hour customer service and a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have absolutely nothing to lose. So click the link in the description to claim your exclusive offer now. Thanks again to Surfshark for sponsoring this episode. On the morning of June 25th, 2022, Mayor Jerry Willis of Wetumpka, Alabama, saw the vehicle he recognized as belonging to 61-year-old Mary Alston parked near a tract of county-owned property near the courthouse. According to Mayor Willis, Ms. Alston had previously been warned not to feed stray cats on public property, and when he saw her vehicle, he contacted the Assistant Chief of Police for the Wetumpka Police Department. 3 patrol vehicles responded to the call, and the interactions that followed were captured on one of the Wetumpka officers' body cameras.
Returns to Mary Alston of Wetumpka on a 2005 Hyundai.
Good morning.
XG350.
Are those Jersey
green in
plates?
color. Status is current, 29s are negative.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. All right. What are you doing?
Trying to trap some cats.
Okay. All right. We got to call that
What?
somebody was out here feeding the cats and stuff like that. So.
I'm trying to trap them.
Okay. You have your driver's license with you, man?
Yeah.
Where do you take them once you trap them?
Okay. Wait a minute. I got 3. Y'all have 3 cop cars because I'm feeding cats.
No, we always
Wow.
do this. It's
That's
fine.
unbelievable.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, we're defunded, okay? You bet your fucking sweet ass we'd had 5 cop cars if we weren't so goddamn underfunded. Thank you, Joe Brandon, and the libtards of America who made us only come here with 3 cop cars.
All right, give me just a second, Miss Alston.
Okay.
Why don't you come up here and learn how to do this?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, sir. Better yet, why don't you go tell her to don't come back? Okay.
Why don't you tell her to get the fuck out? Bro, yeah, you should kill her.
You're formally trespassed from this area right here, so if you come back and we catch you out here, you go to jail for criminal trespass third. No, ma'am.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got to say it. This cop's got an ass on him, okay? He does. I don't think he has a license for all that ass, okay? This is the most fit cop, not in Alabama, but just in the entire nation, probably. What the fuck, dude? He has got a dumpy on him, dude. Holy shit.
This is public property.
City
Public
property. This is
property,
city
and there's
property.
no public,
Yes, ma'am.
which makes it public property.
Yeah, and the city does not want anybody feeding the animals around here because they're becoming a nuisance.
I'm trying to help that nuisance by catching them. I mean,
Okay.
they should be thanking me. I've got a trap set right there trying to help catch them and get them out of here.
Okay.
We have an animal control officer that's certified for that.
I know that, and Terrence knows that I try to help him catch them.
Okay.
We're telling you no.
The trespass stands. Just don't be around here trapping them anymore, okay? All right, you have a good one.
The officer informs Ms. Alston that she has been formally trespassed from the county property and that she will go to jail if she comes back. Under Section 13A-7-4 of the Alabama Code, quote, a person is guilty of criminal trespass in the 3rd degree when he knowingly enters or remains unlawfully in or upon premises. According to Section 13A-7-1 of the Alabama Code, the term premises refers to, quote, any building and any real property. The statute also explains that, quote, a person enters or remains unlawfully in or upon premises when he is not licensed, invited, or privileged to do so, and that, quote, a person who, regardless of his intent, enters or remains in in or upon premises which are at the time open to the public does so with license and privilege, unless he defies a lawful order not to enter or remain personally communicated to him by the owner of such premises or other authorized person. Additionally, the statute states that, quote, a person who enters or remains upon unimproved and apparently unused land, which is neither fenced nor otherwise enclosed in a manner designed to exclude intruders, does so with license and privileges unless notice against trespass is personally communicated to him by the owner of such land or other authorized person, or unless such notice is given by posting in a conspicuous manner. The Alabama Supreme Court recognized in the 1965 case of Johnson versus State that the managerial office of a corporation or other designated official with authority in excess of that of only an employee has the authority to warn off a trespasser, and that such an individual can authorize a police officer to act as their agent and communicate a notice of trespass on their behalf. Assuming that the request that Ms. Alston leave the property came from the mayor and that he authorized the officers to trespass her, it is certainly possible that a court could conclude that the officers had the authority to ask her to leave the property, although more information about the mayor's managerial authority.
Like, I think ultimately, so far, this police interaction is still, like, kind of weird. Even though they very clearly aren't behaving in, like, the insane ways that they normally behave. But also, like, what's up? What's up with her? Like, why is she trapping the cats? Is she trying to neuter them and then bring them back into the wild, potentially?
Over the county-owned property would be necessary to make an accurate prediction. However, the question of whether Ms. Alston could be trespassed perpetually from public property raises additional constitutional concerns that we will discuss later in this episode.
What are we doing?
For 939.
Stopping to see if I was okay.
Could you
Well, man, we told you to leave this area.
I'm not in.
Well,
10/10/28 returns to
you
Beverly
need to leave
Robert,
now.
the
We're teetering on going to jail.
Toyota Camry, gray in color, current 29
Ma'am?
negative.
I'm teetering on going to jail for feeding cats.
well, for trespassing, we told you to leave and you haven't left. I could take you to jail now. I'm not trying to do that. Ma'am, do you have your driver's license with you?
Yeah.
We're back. Boys, we got a RICO case developing right now. 1097. We got 2 white ladies now trying to feed cats. I repeat, a 1097, 2 white ladies trying to feed cats. Okay, we're gonna need to bring out the armored personnel carrier for this one. We need the big guns out here, boys. Bring in the Navajo Special Weapons and Operations team, please. Special Weapons and Tactics team is gonna need to come in for this one.
I mean, we're trying to do a good
Thank you,
thing.
ma'am.
I don't
Not
understand.
39.
We're trying to help, but we're not. Yeah.
You want to handle her? I mean, she's still not leaving. If you want to take her to jail too, go for it. All right, Ms. Roberts.
Oh my God, it's a second elderly lady. All right, wrap it up. It's over. Both of you bitches are going to jail tonight. That's right. Serves you right. Bring in the canine unit.
Okay. Apparently, they've had an issue with you out here before with the cats.
Not here.
These are such. I repeat, there's a second elderly perp in the park.
Feeding the cats out here, right?
Well, I feed them. We've been trying to trap them, and we get them neutered and then get them homes.
Okay.
So we're trying to do the city a favor.
Okay. Well, the city has asked you multiple times.
The city?
Yes, ma'am. Not to do this.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
TNR's trap, neuter, and return release. Adoptable kitties will be put in shelters. It is absolutely imperative that these cats be spayed and neutered. Yeah, I mean, cats outside are an invasive species. They effectively contribute to what is known as bird genocide. I've talked about this a lot. So what they are doing is technically a good thing. Yeah, they kill a fuckload of animals, but specifically birds too. No, don't say birds had it coming, okay? So what they're doing is actually a good thing. What they're doing is a good thing. They are doing the right thing. Stop saying cats can do no wrong. It's because of you fucking freaks that cats get away with like all this nonsense, dude. Yo, you shut the fuck up about cats. I don't want to hear it. Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. It's real. It's literally real.
And they have trespassed you. Okay, and now you're trespassing.
I'm
Okay.
sitting in my car. I'm not.
Well,
I
well,
haven't
you're on the
touched-
ma'am, you're on the property. You've got cat food. Okay. It's pretty,
She said, "You got cat food. Sick 'em. Sick the dogs on 'em. She's got cat food in the car."
back seat. It's pretty clear what your intent.
We caught you with contraband, dead to rights. Oh, that's so funny. Oh,
Yes,
come
okay.
on.
Uh-huh.
All right. So, because you have been trespassed and you have returned yet again, we're gonna have to take you to jail. Okay.
No.
Shut the fuck
After the
up.
initial encounter with Ms. Alston, the officers returned to the same area of public property, and upon finding 85-year-old retired veteran Beverly Roberts sitting in her vehicle on the property, inform her that she's being arrested for trespassing because she had previously been trespassed from the area by the city. Although the Supreme Court held in the 1966 case of Adderley versus Florida that, quote, the state, no less than a private owner...
God, I love this channel so much. They have to go back to Supreme Court decisions to talk about like two old grandmas getting fucking arrested by the cops. You know what I mean? It's like, well, technically, it's within their legal responsibility. It's dictated by the Supreme Court in this 1967 decision. It's like
owner of property has power to preserve the property under its control for the use to which it is lawfully dedicated. The United States Constitution does not forbid a state to control the use of its own property for its own lawful, non-discriminatory purpose. Again, despite that, trespassing someone from public property that is open to the public for an extended or indefinite period of time triggers constitutional concerns under the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment. Under the three-part balancing test established by the Supreme Court in the 1976 case of Matthews versus Eldridge, in which the court stated that, quote, the fundamental requirement of due process is the opportunity to be heard at a meaningful time and in a meaningful manner. Courts must consider three different factors when determining whether the government provided an individual with sufficient procedural due process before depriving them of a right. Now quoting, first, the private interest that will be affected by the official action. Second, the risk of an erroneous deprivation of such interest through the procedures used, and the probable value, if any, of additional or substitute procedural safeguards. And finally, the government's interest, including the function involved and the fiscal and administrative burdens that the additional or substitute procedural requirement would entail. As a plurality of the
motherfuckers doing first year con law lecture on YouTube.
Supreme Court explained in the 1999 case of Chicago versus Morales, quote, the freedom to loiter for innocent purposes is part of the liberty protected by the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment. We have expressly identified this right to remove from one place to another according to inclination as an attribute of personal liberty protected by the Constitution. Indeed, it is apparent that an individual's decision to remain in a public place of his choice is as much a part of his liberty as the freedom of movement inside frontiers that is part of our heritage. Relying in part on this decision, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, which has jurisdiction over Alabama, determined in the 2016 case of Catron versus City of St. Petersburg that 4 homeless plaintiffs had been unconstitutionally trespassed from Florida city parks without receiving due process of law. The court noted that, quote, plaintiffs have a constitutionally protected liberty interest to be in parks or on other...
Wait, what? There was a time and place when the justice system protected homeless people? What the fuck?
city lands of their choosing that are open to the public generally, and that, while, quote, a person may forfeit this liberty right by trespass or other violation of law, due process was needed before an individual could be deprived of this liberty interest. Because the ordinance granted, quote, a lot of discretion to many different city agents to issue trespass warnings for a wide range of acts, the court reasoned that, quote, given that these warnings operate like some kind of injunction, this situation creates a substantial risk of erroneous deprivation of liberty. In concluding that the plaintiffs received insufficient due process before receiving trespassing warnings for public property, the 11th Circuit recognized that, quote, the ease with which trespass warnings may be issued is particularly problematic here, because the trespass ordinance provides no procedural means for a warning recipient to challenge the warning. Even if it is impractical for the city to provide a pre-warning hearing to assure that there are reasonable grounds to support the trespass warning, the city must provide some post-deprivation procedure to satisfy the requirements of the Due Process Clause. Here, although we do not...
Yeah, there's no legal recourse. There's no way that you could say, okay, well, no, actually, I do want to keep going to this fucking park. It makes sense. It makes sense. It's not the nerdiest video I've ever watched. Okay, it's probably pretty nerdy. This is like what I assume this is how like this is like what STEM lords, when I watch a fucking like STEM lord video, they're like, what do you mean? It's really simple. I don't get it. Like, what the fuck? What's wrong with you? Why can't you pay attention to this fucking jargon? But it does make sense.
Not know all
To
the
be fair.
details of Ms. Roberts' initial trespass warning, it appears that neither Ms. Alston nor Ms. Roberts were provided with any opportunity to be heard or challenge her trespass from the county property near the court.
Also, none of these cops know any of these things, which is always what makes the audit video so funny, because like cops are just like, old lady, they told me get out of the park. I don't know why you're here, but I'm gonna kill you now. Please leave before I tase you. Okay, that's what it is. That's like they're operating on fucking go juice and the steroids that they seize from some fucking college kid.
House. And a court applying the 11th Circuit's reasoning in the Catron case would likely conclude that this violated their right to due process of law under the 14th Amendment.
You can go too.
I'm just.
No.
So I'm not allowed to talk.
No, that doesn't involve you. You've been told at least 25 minutes ago that you were trespassing here.
I will call.
She called in backup, ladies and gentlemen. There is no constitutional right for backup in this circumstance. I will tactically ascertain that the top of the hour is upon us, and the only way to avoid it in the most tactical way after giving an ocular pat down to that top of the hour is by telling you that you can get a $5 a month subscription or a free one in the form of a goddamn Twitch Prime, which will allow you to no longer render any aid at the top of the hour. But speaking of rendering aid, you could also technically get a gifted sub if you would like, which will also render aid in a different way. It's a constitutionally protected right for you to avoid the top of the hour ad break. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Got a fist thank you for the 5 gifted subs, allowing 5 people to no longer see the ads at the top of the hour. Gizmo Max with another 5 gifted. Fat Cures Muscles with the 50 gifted, 50 big ones. And Alfalfa Male with the 5 gifted. Thank you for the 5 gifted. Here's the 3-minute ad break, and we're going back to the video.
You can call a lawyer as soon as you get to the jail, okay?
Go
ahead and get in your car. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead and get in your car. Go ahead and get in your car.
Ma'am, go to your car before you get arrested.
I guess you want it to.
No, I just wanted to say something.
Okay, get in your car.
Go ahead and
get in your car. Get in your car. All right, Miss Roberts. I'm going to have to get you to step out, okay?
I'd be trespassing if I did.
Well, ma'am, you're already trespassing.
You all are unbelievable.
Okay.
This is
Oh,
what you're
no.
wasting city gas on.
Step up here for me. Okay.
Now,
listen.
wait a minute.
I'm not going to listen to me. I'm not. Listen. Hold on. Where are you going?
I'm going to give her my car keys so she can get my car to my
Here,
house.
give it to that officer right there. He'll hand them to her.
want to say one thing
Hey.
to you.
It's going to get ugly if you don't stop.
What? Dude, at no point in your life, this is the moment where you stop, okay? You are not a cop anymore, okay? This is the moment where you should literally take a cold, hard look at yourself. When you are threatening, physically intimidating an 85-year-old kind lady who just wants to fucking trap and neuter and possibly put up for adoption a bunch of fucking cats, dude. You sick fucking freak.
It's going to get ugly if you don't stop.
Get him! Let's go!
want to say one thing
Hey.
to you.
It's going to get ugly if you don't.
She should have just smacked the fuck out of him, but of course you can't do that in this country, unfortunately.
Stop.
Can I please say one?
Okay. Now you just got another charge.
Can I say one
Congratulations.
thing?
Assaulting a police officer. Please tell me they hit her with an assaulting a law enforcement officer charge, please. They are fucking handcuffing. Dude, no. Dude, this is somehow more ACAB than all of the ACAB videos that we've watched, okay? That's insane.
Get out. I'm tired. Get out. Get out. Help him.
I got hurt really bad.
She said that hurt really bad, yeah.
Go ahead and step in. Come on.
Oh my God, they did bring the APC. They didn't bring the APC, but this is like.
Close my car. Don't want
Ma'am, we're gonna get all your stuff. Just step in for me.
Well, I can't without, I'm almost 85 years old.
Yes, ma'am. And
She's literally 85. Oh my God. Oh my God. You guys are such scumbags. Oh my God, dude. There is no justice in this world. The things that would happen in a just universe, the things that would happen to cops after doing this, like they would unlock a 7-generation curse, okay? Their children would be punished by God for what they are doing. Oh my God. That is insanity.
I had every intention of putting those handcuffs in the front for you until you started acting like that.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't get.
Are you proud of yourself? This is a moment where you gotta this footage is gonna be run again. You know what I mean? Like you gotta really take accounting of your life choices when you're doing this. Holy fuck. Someone just at 85 is no excuse to feed cats. Listen, I'm on the fuck cats train too, okay? But goddamn, no. If there's a battle, if there's competing interests here, I'm like, do I hate cats more or do I hate cops more? Cops, absolutely, I hate more. Okay? There's no shot.
After the officers tell Ms. Roberts that she's going to jail, Ms. Alston attempts to speak in her defense, and the officers order her to return to her vehicle. Later, the body camera footage shows another officer taking Ms. Alston to a police vehicle in handcuffs while Ms. Roberts was also being arrested. And it was.
By the way, they were sentenced. That's crazy.
Later reported that Ms. Alston was charged with interfering with government operations in addition to trespassing. Under Section 13A-10-2 of the Alabama Code, quote, a person commits the crime of obstructing governmental operations if, by means of intimidation, physical force or interference, or by any other independently unlawful act, he intentionally obstructs, impairs, or hinders the administration of law or other governmental function, or intentionally prevents a public servant from performing a governmental function. Based on the requirement that an individual use physical force or engage in a so-called independently unlawful act, it does not seem likely that Ms. Alston could be convicted of this offense, at least based on the body camera footage available, for simply expressing her disagreement with the officer's arrest of Ms. Roberts. Not only is it perfectly legal to speak in opposition to police actions,
Dude, I love protest footage being overlaid over this.
as the Supreme Court noted in the case of City of Houston versus Hill, when it said, quote, the
Thank you, Nix420666 for the 10 gift.
First Amendment protects a significant amount of verbal criticism and challenge directed at police officers, but also in that case, the court also explained that, quote, speech is often provocative and challenging, but it is nevertheless protected against censorship or punishment, unless shown likely to produce a clear and present danger of a serious substantive evil that rises far above public inconvenience, annoyance, or unrest. Here, because the available body camera footage shows that Ms. Roberts did nothing to interfere with the police officers beyond attempting to speak her opinion, which the officers quickly censored by ordering her to return to the car, it seems probable that a rational court would conclude that Ms. Alston could not be arrested for obstructing governmental operations.
Jeez.
Both women were arrested and charged with criminal trespassing. Ms. Alston was also charged with interfering with government operations, and Ms. Roberts was charged with disorderly conduct. In December of 2022,
At least they didn't hit her with the fucking assaulting a police officer. Here's the judge getting yelled at. Here's the judge, Jeff Courtney. He was hired by the mayor of city to be the judge, and he participated in a group handheld prayer with the mayor, prosecutor, and city staff before the trial. The prosecutor said they prayed that the trial be dignified. I've never seen something like that. Bro, what is happening in Podunk, Alabama towns, dude? What the fuck are these people doing, dude? They're like what do they do? Is it like the product of incest? The most incestuous person ends up being like in the highest position? Is that how this is working there? Like, what is this? They're like, oh man, you got so much incest in your background. We are elevating you to prosecutor, and swiftly we will make you the judge. No, seriously.
Your reaction to being found guilty of trespassing, disorderly conduct, interfering with a law enforcement officer,
Oh, by the way, they're going to jail for 10 days.
all in connection to feeding cats.
Very shocked and disappointed.
And disheartened that they don't see any other way to do this. You know, they're not willing to change.
Miss Beverly, you are 85. Miss
Correct.
Mary, you are in your mid-60s.
I am 60.
You are 60. The two of you met and bonded sort of over trying to help dogs in the area.
Correct. That's correct.
You were arrested after you were initially found trying to trap cats
Yes.
as part of trap, neuter, rehome,
Yeah.
essentially,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
What do you think this case says to the public, the people who will watch this and see two elderly women arrested and convicted on all charges in connection to feeding cats?
I just am shocked that the city and the powers that be are not agreeable or amenable to even considering.
Dude, it feels like a bit, right? Like it's so unimaginable and so unnecessarily cruel that it literally feels like a joke. Like this is a sketch. Like this is a sketch you would do, like some Norwegian like television show, public access TV show would do a sketch about how crazy America is. You know what I mean? Like that kind of shit. That's how fucking insane this is. You made a joke about cops doing this shit. Random chatters would be calling you an unhinged leftist. Yeah.
Another way to do this, to trap new release, because it's proven that's the way to decrease the population.
And there was an expert who testified that
Absolutely.
TNR happens around the country. The
Yes.
city said, Mary, that this was a nuisance. It was essentially attracting more cats. And so they asked y'all to stop. They said they asked many times and y'all continued, and so they arrested you.
Well, to make it clear, they never asked me not to feed or trap the cats until that day. And spaying and neutering cats cuts the population down. They're not a nuisance for doing that. They're not a nuisance. It just controls the population and helps that.
You both will appeal this,
We will.
and you'd like to have the case heard before a jury.
Yes,
Is that
we
correct?
would. Yes, we would. We feel this was very unjust and very unfair.
It's very disappointing. Compassion is not a crime.
Who's the animal welfare person? Yeah, a judge in Wetumpka, Alabama, finds a U.S. Army veteran, Beverly Roberts, at the age of 85, and Mary Alston, 61, guilty of trespassing and disorderly conduct in connection to feeding and trapping cats for neutering on public property, which is not illegal. The city, however, found it to be a nuisance and swiftly did what needed to be done, and that is show these old ladies the long dick of the law. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. These criminal scum deserve far worse. However, our most incestuous judge was appointed to the case to make sure that the law was swift and the law was just. And let me tell you, our most incestuous mayor, on top of our most incestuous judge, were in cahoots. However, the judge still decided on a 10-day jail sentence, which is far too goddamn lenient, if you were to ask me. If it were up to me, I would have sent them to the gulag to make sure they get punished in perpetuity for the remainder of their lives. Here's the prosecutor. Also, what the fuck? What is this guy's fit, bro? He just looks evil. He successfully, because he won, claimed that the cats were in some way causing damage to county vehicles. The defense had an expert on who said rodents would cause some of the alleged damage, eating through a firewall to vehicles, not cats.
It's a criminal trespass case. And a criminal trespass case hinges on, were you told to leave and did you come back? Very concise.
This is David Lynch. I refuse to believe that this is real. This is literally the type of prosecutor that you would have at like Twin Peaks, okay? And you'd be like, why the fuck is this like evil ass motherfucker living in this like small ass town, okay? This is an elaborate bit.
Let me ask you this. What do you say to the person who says, but wait a minute, they're on public property. You can't trespass someone on public property.
And there is Supreme Court cases that say you can. If there is a good interest or a city interest or a government interest that says that we have
there's a government
reason
interest
to do this, then you certainly can.
What about the notion that they trespassed them? So there's no law against feeding cats.
No.
Right? They were trapping and feeding the cats.
That's what they said.
The city found it to be a nuisance. So because of that, the city said, don't come back. They came back anyway.
Correct.
So they trespassed them on public property where they had a right to be on public property for doing something that is not illegal.
That is the defensive argument.
But isn't that a fact?
That's the defensive argument. Our interest is...
You say they're facts. I say that's the argument of the defense. Now, whether it's factually accurate or not does not change the circumstances at play, which is that I'm the second highest incest baby in the entire county, okay? Which means I get to make the rules as I see fit, okay? My mommy and daddy were not first cousins, okay? That's what a lot of people thought. They were actually brother and sister, which means that I get to be the prosecutor today, and that's why I made up the rules. So your factually accurate argument is just a defensive argument.
As a city, and I'm speaking as the stand-in prosecutor,
Sure.
I'm actually the prosecutor for Prattville,
Sure.
that our interest is not having our property destroyed.
I've never seen someone look more like a fucking criminal defense attorney, but is actually a prosecutor. Like, he just straight up looks like the big city lawyer that they bring in from, like, you know, whatever big city, Alabama, that comes in, but he actually is the prosecutor, which is weird.
And so we can
Like, down to the fucking suit.
trespass you because you have led to this situation that creates destruction of public property.
Here's the judge, Jeff Courtney. That's right, getting out of his STX, baby.
I thought, yeah, Astros fan.
He was hired by the mayor of the city to be the judge. He participated in a group handheld prayer with the mayor, prosecutor, and city staff before the trial. Prosecutor said they prayed that the trial be dignified. That's insane. Actually fucking insane, dude. What the fuck?
Municipal Judge Jeff Courtney, who participated in a group prayer session with prosecutor Brett Ekdahl and other city officials before the trial started, found the women guilty of all 4 charges and sentenced them to 2 years unsupervised probation, a suspended sentence of 10 days in jail, and $50.
Wait, how is the prosecutor allowed to like pray with the judge before the trial? Like, I know prosecutors and judges, they have like oftentimes they have a connection, right? It's not like, that's not unheard of, but like right before the case, like that's kind of insane. You're just basically saying you're in cahoots. That's crazy.
Fines plus court costs for each charge. It should also be noted that under Section 30-3 of the Wetumpka Code of Ordinances, Judge Courtney was appointed by the City Council and must be reappointed every 2 years. Ms. Roberts and Ms. Alston's attorneys both indicated that they have filed a formal appeal requesting a jury trial and intend to file a lawsuit against the city. Overall, Ms. Alston and Ms. Roberts get an A for standing up to the city's authoritarian and likely unconstitutional actions, taking appropriate legal action by appealing their convictions and preparing to to file a lawsuit and making a genuine effort to assist with the feral cat problem facing the city of Wetumpka. While it is possible that they may have been trespassing, the constitutionality of such a charge is highly questionable. And, according to Ms. Roberts' attorney, the prior trespass warning she received was for the dumpster area near the courthouse, not the open field where she was arrested, which was between 50 and 100 yards away.
Cook 'em.
Likewise, although a city official claimed that cat food had caused problems, such as attracting buzzards and more stray cats to the area, this was disputed by multiple defense witnesses at the trial. And, moreover, Ms. Alston and Ms. Roberts were attempting to lure the cats with food to trap them, neuter them, and return them to their original location. They were not simply leaving food out for them to eat. Trap, neuter, release programs like this are widely recognized as an effective and humane way to manage feral animal populations. And although I'm in no way an expert in this area, I commend Ms. Alston and Ms. Roberts for their compassion and their commitment to helping animals and the city. The Wetumpka Police Department gets an F for wasting city resources by sending 3 squad cars to arrest 2 senior citizens attempting to help animals on public property, using handcuffs and unnecessary physical force to punish Ms. Roberts for expressing her frustration with the situation, and manufacturing trumped-up charges against the women in retaliation for voicing their opinions. However, it would be unfair to only assign a grade to the police officers involved, as many of the issues with this interaction stemmed from the city officials involved, who also get an F for their failure to behave responsibly, treat Ms. Alston and Ms. Roberts with the respect they deserve, and take steps to deal
My man's just dishing out Fs, dude.
with the feral cat problem themselves. Likewise, Prosecutor Ekdahl and Judge Courtney also get Fs for prosecuting and convicting Ms. Roberts and Ms. Alston on unfounded charges of disorderly conduct and obstruction, and, even if the trespassing charges were supported, failing to exercise their discretion to achieve a more reasonable outcome for the case. Let us
I can't get over this fucking prosecutor. Dude, this is fucking awesome. What a hilarious story. What a horrifying story. Yeah, apparently they got they got 10 days in jail, $100, but also luckily that was suspended, so they won't be serving that sentence, which I mean, it's pretty fucking nuts, dude. Yeah, 2 years in house probation. Wait, what? No, not in house. No, but 2 years probation is also insane.
know if there is an interaction or legal topic you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank